Welcome back to Season 6 of Time to Change.
We have some amazing conversations lined up from people doing the work. I'm excited for those and the change that it'll hopefully spark.
I can't wait to jump in. So let's get started. Welcome back to Time for Change. We are here today with Courtney Turich. She is the Global Vice President of Marketing and Sales for Cooler Heads. She has also been on Shark Tank, and she is the podcast host of Bold Moves and Confident Choices. Courtney Turich in the house. Give
Hey
it up,
guys!
people. Woo-hoo.
Thanks for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Wow, we're excited for you to be here. You brighten up this room already.
I love it. Let's do it.
You know what? I'm going to start out, and I'm just going to say, you know what? We're both in the Outlier Project. I love that group. I cannot say enough positive things about that group. But I'm just curious how you found the Outliers.
What a great question, Chasen. And I too love the Outlier group. Don, are you part of the Outlier group?
Evidently, I should be.
Yeah, you should be. You are missing out. Well, I found the Outlier group project from some people on LinkedIn. And initially, who really brought me in is Lindsay Dowd. I hear she brings in a lot of us.
We love Lindsay Dowd. She's been on the show. We love her.
She's fantastic. And really, I found that community when I was really searching for really to re-surround myself with like-minded individuals to help elevate me and continue to help me grow and see beyond my wildest dreams.
Oh, that's perfect. That's perfect. I'm curious because I see that you've been, I'm going to shift a little bit here. You know, you're the Global Vice President of Marketing and Sales, but you've been with Cooler Heads for a while. And I know that I introduced you to another outlier who's kind of in that same realm with cold caps. I'm curious. I was reading about AMA and reading about this amazing company and what they're doing. But I'd rather you tell it. And I want to just say this. I wish you guys were around when my wife was going through this, because she lost some of her hair and how that made her feel as she was dealing with all of that. It's as a husband and knowing there's nothing you can do, it's devastating for the whole family. She got through it. She has all of her hair back, and that's fantastic. But I just want you to tell the audience, like, what do you do there? What's the company about? And we're going to share those links when this airs.
Yeah. So, Chasen, I started with Cooler Heads about 3 years ago on a consultancy basis. I've been in the medtech space for 20 plus years, but really found a passion for startups. So when I was introduced to Cooler Heads, I heard about this concept. So for everyone out there, scalp cooling helps minimize hair loss for chemotherapy patients. Wow. And you know, I heard, and not unfortunately, thank goodness, I have not had somebody go through chemo that's close to me. So when I heard of this concept, I'm like, it's all vanity. And you know what? Shame on me, you guys, because I know now it is so much more than that. And I can't imagine if I was in your wife's shoes, or anyone else who's going through a cancer diagnosis, who's going to lose their hair and have to walk out in public and be stared at each and every moment wherever they might be. Because reality is, when these patients go out in public, and Chasen, again, you've seen this, people look at you. They're like, wow, she's sick. I feel sorry for her. I hope she's okay. But what we do is we give privacy and identity back to the patient. We allow them to tell their journey on their own terms. We allow them to go out and live a normal life, be in front of their kids, go and just not be reminded of this illness that's taking over their body. So it's become real. I've become very passionate about it. And again, shame on me. I'm really disappointed that I had that thought initially,
Mhm.
but I am far from that side that I initially thought about it being vanity, because it is so far not.
Wow.
Yeah, I can understand that. And Chasen, thank you for sharing your experience. Courtney, I was excited to learn about what you do and what Cooler Heads does as well. And I'll share just personally having navigated that experience, not with my wife like you, Chasen, but with my newborn son at the time.
Wow.
And we went through a journey of recovery, and chemotherapy was a part of that.
Wow.
And you're absolutely right. It's not until you're walking through that journey when you realize how something as quote unquote simple as just losing
Mhm.
your hair as a result of it, the mental and emotional toll that that takes on you. Love to hear about what you all are doing.
Yeah, thank you, Dom, for sharing that as well. I'm sorry you've gone through what you have. I see these patients and I realize from the moment they get diagnosed, their life is flipped upside down for at least a year, if not longer.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And
Yeah.
so, from my understanding, you've been with the organization for roughly how long now?
Almost 3 years. So I started as a consultant. And then, as I said, I started to talk to all these individuals going through their journey. And I was pulled in with the
Yeah.
mission, right? We're out here to make a difference, to make an impact, and to allow these people to try and live a normal life as much as possible. My founder and CEO, Kate Dilligan, she's a breast cancer survivor,
Mhm.
and we're here based on her own journey.
Yeah.
She did the manual cold caps, which you have to switch these caps
Mhm.
off and on for like every 20-25 minutes,
Mhm.
and they sit on dry ice. So it's like taking a swim cap and putting it over their head every 25 minutes. They do it an hour before chemo, during chemo, and they might do it 3 to 4 hours post chemo. So
Mhm.
think about how much work that is.
Yeah.
Well, she walked away, kept her hair. She was able to maintain her identity and privacy. She was a big exec in the government space. Nobody knew she had cancer. So that felt good. But
Wow.
she walked away feeling defeated that I just spent an exorbitant amount of money. She spent over $8,000 to do that. And she realizes that, the normal average person cannot pay that or even come close to it. And then, secondly, the process was so tedious. And she didn't have a friend or relative to help her switch her caps on and off. So she had to hire a capper and had to rely on them to come for every chemotherapy appointment, to stay with her after every chemotherapy infusion. So she said, there has got to be an easier way.
Yeah.
So here we are, Cooler Heads,
Wow.
AMA.
Yeah. So
That is
AMO is, if I remember from the website, you have one of the only distinctions. You got some sort of licensing. Is it FDA, or there's
Yeah,
something that you have that where you're the only one doing what you do with the technology, et cetera.
sure. So we are one of 3 FDA cleared devices on the market,
Wow.
and they're called mechanical systems, and they plug into a wall, so they generate the cold. We are the only US based company. We are the newest kids on the block, the most innovative, I will say. We are small and portable. So we're like a small shoebox on wheels.
Oh, cool.
And so when every patient who scalp cools, no matter if they're doing the cool caps or the mechanical systems, they have to pre-cool for 30 minutes with our system. They'll cool throughout their chemo, and then they'll post-cool for 2 hours. And some really aggressive regimens, they'll post-cool for 3. But our system is the only one that allows them to get up out of that chair and go somewhere else to cool in the facility.
Wow.
So it's a benefit for the patient because they've been
Yep.
sitting there for so long,
Yeah,
but
you
it's
want to move.
also right. But it's also a benefit for the infusion center. I hate to say these places are packed. They're busting at the seams, and they need to get another patient in there for chemo.
Yeah.
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 Wow.
That's
You're
that's
giving
incredible.
autonomy back to so many people. That's amazing.
Right there,
That's
Dom.
amazing.
Autonomy.
Yep.
Big
I
one.
love that. I love that.
Yeah.
What I love about something that you mentioned earlier, Courtney, you found a passion for startups. And I love, Chasen, if it's okay to kind of pivot the conversation a bit.
Sure.
You've had what looks like an amazing journey through what I'll call just corporate kind of roles. And then you went into this crazy world of entrepreneurship and now are working with startups and things. And so I'd love if we could take a step back and just you share a commercial, if you will, about your career journey and how you got into this space in the first place.
Yeah. So I'm an Indiana girl at heart. I was born in the middle of cornfields for the most part. And when I got out of college, I had never really seen much besides Indiana. And I decided to take a solo backpack trip to Australia because I felt like that's what I needed to do to spread my wings and fly, to learn what it's like to be really independent. So that's what I asked for graduation was a flight. Other than that, I left with $500 in my pocket and I flew to Australia for a few months. I can't say my parents were excited, but they allowed me to do it. And now being a mom, I'm not sure I want my kid to do it, but I will support him. But what that did when I came back, Dom and Chasen, it gave me this fire inside to see what else is out there. And from that point, I became what I like to call a change agent. I've lived in 8 different cities, all for professional growth in the medical device space. Then I worked my way up. I was in sales. I went inside in marketing at a Fortune 500 company. Then I went back out into sales and grew in the leadership path. And then again, because I like change and to think crazy, I invented a product with a friend that was featured on Shark Tank. Super fun.
Yeah. That as a small little aside.
It's just a little, she just brushed that like right off, like, okay, this is just a little spot.
Just a little note.
I just did this little thing with Mark Cuban and it was all right.
You've got to stop there for a second, Courtney. What did you invent? Tell us about the experience of Shark Tank.
Okay, so it's something really basic. It was called a monkey mat. So instead of carrying a big bulky blanket to a picnic with your kids or to a concert, it was a small little pouch. Inside was a big 5 by 5 foot water repellent mat with weighted corners. So basically you could zip, clip, and go. Right? So it's just something that you could take with you anywhere and everywhere.
I feel like I was on Shark Tank.
That was a Shark Tank moment right there. That was a Shark Tank moment.
Dom said he wanted a commercial, so I'm trying my best over here. It's been a while. I'm a little rusty.
Clip and what? Go. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That is staying in this for sure. And I'm gonna make sure that we have that out somewhere. Zip, clip, and go, people.
That's right. Awesome. Now think about it for life. Zip, clip, and go. Yep. And so, one of our top 3 goals was to get on Shark Tank. And we submitted it to the black space of the web. You go to their website, you put in there your headshot and what your company is. It's very basic. And a few months later, we got a call from a producer.
Wow.
And from that moment, that was, now time is now becoming a blur. I'm going to say it was in March. Is when the process started. And then it was fast and furious from there. But they put you through a lot before you even make it to LA to even try to film. And every step of the way it's never a guarantee. It's never a guarantee. So they give you short time frames to accomplish this stuff too. They're putting you through a test. So they asked us to come to LA and the end of May in 2013. I can't forget that because you know why? I said, well, as much as I want to be there, I look down at my stomach and I'm 9 months pregnant. That's the week I'm delivering my son. So I'm like, I gotta handle this thing first and then I'll be there. So they gave us, again, it's a blur, 4 to 6 weeks. I went out the first week of July in 2013, was there for a week. We filmed, we got a deal. We were in there for an hour. We walk away.
Wow.
And we didn't air for almost a year later.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. There's a lot there. First off, I think that I'm channeling the people who are watching this And I'm sure the question they're asking, which sharks did you walk away with again?
Mark Cuban and Lori Grenier.
Okay, how was that experience?
I can't say enough good things about Mark Cuban. Like, he is really out for the entrepreneur. He helped us every step of the way. He has a full support team to help his entrepreneurs. So, for a startup of 2 people who get put on national television, you are no longer crawling, you're sprinting overnight.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really hard for a startup.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Amazing experience. Chase,
Yeah.
follow that, sir.
Well, I have to segue. I can't just follow that up. But I want to make sure that before we run out of time and the clock is ticking, that we talk about her podcast. So we need to talk about Bold Moves and Confident Choices podcast. And she's the host. Why a podcast? And why now? And why those words?
So, Chasen, what you're doing here is about people, and I have a passion for people too. I wouldn't be where I am today if it wasn't for the people I've surrounded myself and the people that have come into my life. And one thing about the journey that I've been on, when I got back into medical after my Shark Tank company, I realized that I loved that feeling when people saw what they brought to this world. It was like this light bulb that goes off in them. And when that goes off in them, it goes off in me. And for that, I felt the power and the need to share my voice, but more importantly, others who have been there, who have made fearless decisions. We've all made bold moves, every single one of us, no matter where you're at in life. But if we can hear others' bold moves, it triggers us to think bigger, to keep dreaming, and to challenge ourselves.
Love that.
Wow.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's perfect. What a way to end the show with that drop the mic moment. Just like, okay, there we go. And then we're going to clip it, zip it, and run.
Zip, clip,
Flip
and go.
run. Man, she said it like 12 times. You would think that this is all the hockey scars. I just can't seem to. I don't know. We have been so thrilled to have you on the show. Thank you for being here. Thank you for telling us a little bit about your journey, opening up the doors for people to experience it with us. And I cannot wait to let this air. So thank you, Courtney, for being here. Dom, great questions. I can always count on you. I can always count on you.
Such a pleasure.
Thank you.
Keep making
Thank
bold
you.
moves.
I so much appreciate it. If I could just say one last thing, go be bold, be confident, and be you.
Nice.
I love it.